3, 2, 1.
Was that your start noise?
That was the starting noise. It's like summoning a horse.
I was gonna say, are you making a horse? One of those things? Okay. Hey, I've worse ways to get me to do stuff, I guess. Yeah, welcome everyone. This is the intro to our we don't have a name for this episode. I'm gonna call it these. We're gonna have a bunch of these mini podcasts for this summer. We're just gonna be talking about new movies because we realize that we just talk too much anyway, and new movies plus the topic is a 4-hour adventure that no one's got time for.
Yeah, no one. I mean, I don't even have time to edit half of what we talk about, and I think I'm wildly interesting myself. But
no one has a higher opinion of Molly than Molly. It's she's on top.
It's goddamn true.
So everyone, this is just so you can recognize voice. This is Matt and Molly, producer Molly and host Matt. I feel like we should have like titles or something, but like because you're producer Molly, but I'm just Matt. I want something.
Big Matty G is how I referred to you the other day.
Which is fine. I mean, I get that. That's a nickname I've gotten like all through high school and college. It's a thing.
Can your nickname be Matthew?
Sure. Sounds not as nicknamey.
Whale Puncher. Also
great. I mean, okay. Let's for a second. I've had a lifetime of nicknames and of bad nicknames, never great nicknames. So like when
you have enough personality that you don't need a nickname.
My first remembered nickname that I had was from like Little League, and I was known as Frenchie.
Sure.
Yeah. Terrible. Like a coach.
Why?
So we had a coach who was like one of those guys like, oh, I'm everyone's best friend. I'm gonna give everyone gets a nickname and it's gonna be on your jersey, blah blah blah. And like he knew that I took French in like 5th grade. And he's like, oh, you're Frenchie. I'm like, oh, that's a terrible name. Oh, it's too late. That's your nickname. So I was stuck there for that for a while. And then in 7th grade, my nickname was Thunder, and I did not like that because I gave it to myself like not on purpose. Like I was joking how I got paired up on a basketball trip with a point guard who was very fast. I go, oh, were we Thunder and Lightning hanging out? And the coach thought that was hilarious, so he called me Thunder. Also didn't care for that one.
And then the thunder and the lightning.
That shout out to Logan. We sing that song so many times at Walgreens at the WEG. But also, then I was in high school. I was stuck with the nickname Gunner. Yeah, you should feel bad for me. So a freshman year football coach could not. He was trying to say I was a long snapper. Gun the ball back, Grenier. He's trying to say, and he kept saying Grenier back the ball, Gunner, because he's retarded, I guess, and not like in a derogatory way, like he's just been hit in the head too many times. Okay, but it was like and then I think I was the only good nickname I liked for a while, and my friends called me Lunchbox for a while. I did like that.
Lunchbox.
I had a lot of weird nicknames. I was Lunchbox, and then went to college. When I joined a social group, they had a kick-over nickname. My name was Ottoman. And not like you put your feet on as the Empire, because I was large and vast, just like the Empire. That was the reason for that nickname. That was on the back of a hockey jersey that I had.
Ottoman.
And then after that, I was just Big Matty most of college. I just became Big Matty.
Big Matty. I mean, I really like just calling you Chasing Amy.
Oh, take it back. That too.
Amy, I think is appropriate here.
And then when I started working in retail, they couldn't say Mr. Grenier, so they called me Mr. G, which became G. So I was G and then that became G Sexy or G Money for quite some time. So I've had a lot of awful nicknames.
I don't know. G Sexy is like an anointed nickname.
Well, call Mark Lee right now. He still calls me Big G Sexy all the time. Can't get enough of it.
I'll call you G Sexy.
So that was a weird detour into my personal life. Molly, do you have any good nicknames?
Good? No.
Bad nicknames? I make bad nicknames.
I think I've only really ever gone with like 1 or 2 nicknames. My family nickname, what my family still calls me occasionally, is the Poop.
Yes. Why?
Because when I was little and in diapers, whenever they would hand me to my brother, I would poop.
That is awesome.
That was my bowel movements was, okay, she needs a bowel movement, hand her to Sam. She'll poop.
So Sam is the poop whisperer?
Something like that.
Okay.
You know, in retrospect, in looking back in my life, I'm so glad I pooped on Sam so much. You know, I feel like that is the most epic revenge, is getting it before you know what revenge is, or before you can talk.
Literally shitting on your brother. That seems amazing.
That is life goals for anyone, in case anyone was needing a goal.
I feel like at this point in my life, that's never happened for me. Unless I become dementia intolerant at some point, and my brother's gonna take care of me. There'll be no poop on him. It'll never happen.
I'm sorry.
Window. Yeah, well.
You can always fling poo.
Look at like a monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Fair enough.
Yeah. You know. Other than that, everyone calls me Malls occasionally. Katie calls me Malls. My roommate that's sitting there stressing out right now.
She looks super relaxed.
No, she's high key stressed right now.
Is that what it is? Are you so stressed that it's like it's gone? You physically gone into relax mode. Look on the outside, but inside it's just a hurricane of despair and torment. That's a yes, folks.
Nothing else, just yes. No comment, just yes.
Okay. I've been trying to call you Mollykins, but it doesn't seem really catching on.
No, but like that's your nickname for me,
Okay.
so that works. Every once in a while, I used to get Mole or Moley or something by a few guys in high school back when I was straight. But
wait, back when you? Okay, all right.
yeah, when I thought I was straight, let's be real.
First of all, can I get a picture of what you looked like when you thought you were straight? Because I wonder what that looks like.
I went to prom 3 years in a row.
Okay.
In high school, and I wore big ass dresses every year.
Do you have a picture of this?
Molly's
mom,
it's on
I
my
assume you're.
Facebook.
On your Facebook. Okay. I was like, Molly's mom, I know you're listening. Please send us these pictures.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple. I played a whore in a production once, so I dressed up in like
That sentence went the wrong way. Like you said, I played a whore like in real life. Holy shit! Like,
no, I am a whore in real life.
Yeah.
Didn't we get that? Didn't you hear the episode where I'm a Joey?
Not a whore. Just remember that song by Nelly Furtado, "Promiscuous Girl"?
A promiscuous girl.
There's your nickname. Haley has
Nelly?
a nickname. Haley.
Shuey.
What is your nickname?
For myself, it's Shu or Shuey, but for Molly, I recommend Molly Wobbles.
Molly Wobbles.
I am Molly Wobbles, according to Haley. Haley's nickname is Shuey or Frank, and she had a math club in high school nicknamed after her.
Wait, I'm sorry. I need some reference. I have two. It was the math club itself named after her, or did she get a nickname in math club? Both things are great. I want to know which one
They
it is.
named the math club after her nickname.
Haley, were you in the math club?
There was a song.
Are we picking this up? Because this is amazing.
Some of it.
Recap what she just said.
Well, I wasn't listening. I was looking at recording levels.
All right, so Haley's saying that her friends that she made in calculus were so tight and cool because everyone loves calculus. Became a club, like a clique, and they named it after, and this group was named after her, and there was signature moves. Were there T-shirts made or hats or maybe like some kind? There was a music video, folks.
It's on YouTube.
What was the song? Wait, original music or like listening to?
Oh God, rewriting lyrics to a One Direction song. That takes me back. That really does.
I have something. I'm saying that's super embarrassing, but I once in a English class was part of a group who rewrote the lyrics to an Adam Sandler song for a Salem witch trial parody that I played the xylophone on. And
it got better.
the song was called Wizard Will, and it was amazing. Michelle Braglock, you're a goddamn inspiration every day of my life.
Yikes.
We did it a couple times, like where he would do we have those, everyone's got those zangy English teachers like, oh, just do whatever you want, like it's free, it's art, and so you could do reports any format you want. You could you could make a movie or do puppets or make a painting so she would let us do songs, and my buddy would make parody Weird Al versions of what we learned into a song, and he'd give instruments because he had all these instruments and like a tone box, guitar, and a bass, and he was giving me because I am very creative in many things, and I'm very artistic in many things, but Matthew Grenier cannot do anything musically at all. And the funny is, I took music theories. I can read music notes, I can read it, but if you ask me to sing on a tone, key or keep a beat, it's bad. It's real bad. I was
so believable though.
So one time with xylophone, one time keyboard, where I was just not actually doing playing the keys. It was one of those keyboards oh, this is the sound of a cymbal crash. Just push count 3, hit that button. Count 3, hit that button. Just keep this. Matt, you're fucking it up again. Why can't you keep a rhythm? So, yeah.
To 3, hit the button.
Yeah. So a lot of that stuff. But yeah, okay. Really vital. So, God, this intro's all over the place here. So, what this episode is? This intro might be longer than the actual episode at this point.
Yeah, it's such a mini episode.
It's my shortest episode. Well, actually, I think the Oscar repeated. So
yeah.
So up there. Also, if you guys haven't listened to the live Oscar show that we put together, as funny as listening to Molly interview children, I wish you could have been live for that, because that was at the same time heartwarming and adorable and funny all at the same time. That should be a TV show. Molly interviews children is my new favorite thing in life.
Everyone at the party, because I didn't really know a lot of these people at the Oscar party. I'd met most of them just somewhere here or there.
Yeah.
And there were just a bunch of kids, and I started playing with them. They were using me as a human jungle gym, and I was interviewing them or whatever. And everyone was like, "Is Molly okay? Does she want the kids removed from her, or is she good?" And I'm like, "No, bring on the kids. I would love to host a show with children."
I don't know if I said this in the podcast before, but my favorite part of that whole night was you were just wrestling those kids, and Heather's watching her kids, okay, Molly seems like okay person, she just met you, and I just go to real quick, I think it's so great that our kids can play together.
So believable.
That made me laugh a lot. So this episode is a mini episode. This is a new movies. We're going to be talking, I believe, about How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Hidden World, and Alita Battle Angel. And this is with Dr. Joe and myself, and I believe Mike is producing. I don't think Dylan's on it. I think he's in the background floating around. He's kind of like the devil. He's just always in the background influencing the world.
I was going to say, I feel like he's on every podcast. Like, Dylan's presence
and I don't
never
want to call him
leaves.
the devil because that makes too much. I want him to be like, he's more like Beelzebub, which is the devil, but I feel like he should be more ominous. Like, he feels like black hat, like making deals for your soul, kind of like, he puppet master in the background. He's not like pure evil. He's malice. He's maleficent. He's
like the unnamed character that just kind of shows up at the end of the movie, but you're never really sure what form he is.
Yeah.
But he was at work the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, he's the hand of fate, but if fate was, had a beer gun and drank a lot. I love you, Dylan.
So yeah, that's what that episode's about, and you got a good 11 minutes of us talking about our personal lives there.
Hey, people want to know what's your nicknames.
That's true.
We gotta think more. I think everyone, if you could please either tweet at me because we are 3D Better on Twitter or reach me on Facebook. Tell me what we think you should name Molly. I feel like Bruce Molly's a great title, but she needs a great nickname, and we gotta figure this one out. And if you got one for me, that's fine too. But I feel like I'm unnicknameable. It's like they don't really sit well. Just don't.
You could be the waffle.
I could be the waffle.
The waffle.
Oh, okay. That is Haley's car. Like sometimes when you get to know people and you're like, hey, you start asking a lot of questions so you can like feel their life out. I've purposely, after meeting Haley a few times, not ask questions because like I get weird chunks of information and none of them ever fit together. They just like I heard was like I thought I knew her people. I was like, oh, that's when I lived in England. Like what? I said, what now? Like it was like it's always like something really out of left. Like
I want to tell you, I've gotten to know Haley fairly well. We've known each other about a year.
First of all, no spoilers. I want to enjoy this movie as is.
This doesn't go away.
Okay.
The more you know Haley, the less you know about Haley.
I kind of like that.
It's never not shocking what she is about to say. Her stories start out so normal, and they just derail themselves. It's slowly. She says something, and you're like, wait, what the fuck?
I feel like I enjoy it so much because like I'm an overshare. I'll tell you everything.
Yeah.
And not that she's not a sharer. She just dulls it out like candy and like it's like she's the homeroom teacher's like I can't give the kids candy every day, only when it's something good. Did you do all your chores? Did you get a star? Did you finish your homework? Here, I'll tell you a story. And
yep.
There how it goes. Okay, then I'm gonna say that was our intro. I think this went swimmingly, and please, we are trying to put some music into our show, so please enjoy all the music in this episode. I believe we've decided we're going with
Immortal Girlfriend.
Immortal Girlfriend is a local Milwaukee band that we enjoy very much, and they have great stuff. And thank you for letting us use your stuff. We didn't really ask, but if I like to think that 2 seconds you met at your concert, like Matt, if you want to use our music to using your show, go ahead.
Yeah, and they played at Mad Planet the other night, and they were actually really fantastic. Matt just kind of dragged me to your show, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Do I drag you to places? I feel like I just invite you places.
Yeah, and I just tend to go with the flow. So I say people drag me places, but I never really put up a protest either.
You don't seem to put up any resistance.
No, I let things happen in my life, and those are the best things.
That's how I live my life.
Come on.
People say, "Do this?" Sure. I'm literally getting a tattoo tomorrow because someone texts me because like, "Hey, we should get tattoos." Like, all right.
Yeah, and I'm going with. I don't think I'm getting a tattoo, but I'm gonna witness this.
Can we get you a tattoo that's like super tiny? That's really weird.
I mean, sure.
How about like just the continent of Australia on the bottom of your heel?
Actually, that would work. I think I have a friend that lives in Australia. She would really appreciate that. Shout out Juicy.
Juicy, we love you. And once again, if anyone can find pictures of Molly on prom, please send it to us. Thank you. Bye. They fucking talking about. Mm-hmm. We are a bunch of people who with average IQs and above average livers get together, talk about movies, and get kind of drunk because in Wisconsin, why do anything unless you can do it drunk? So we like to recreate the atmosphere of people being in the bar talking about the movies they just saw and what they and the fun. And Dylan yelling about how much he hates. What movie do you hate? Lord of the Rings. What do you hate?
I really like Lord of the Rings.
Which one? Avatar. I'm trying to think what you hate.
Avatar wasn't that bad.
Okay, well you hate a lot of things.
Yeah, I do.
I just haven't hit one yet.
Well, it's called critique, Matt, and I feel like it just doesn't happen much on this podcast. So,
Yeah. Okay. So
That's my fault. I'm usually the one that likes.
no,
everything.
because we the
No, it's his fault.
It's not my fault.
It is.
We the guests pick what they like, so it's things they like.
Yeah, sure.
Do you want me to pick things we hate? We can do a hate one if you want. I mean, I know you're anti the world, but I can do this.
I'm not anti the world. I just said I liked Lord of the Rings, and
Yeah, that's weird.
I said Avatar was fine.
Lord of the Rings is pretty cool.
So this episode is going to be a mini
Yeah.
episode. We're going to talk about new movies that are on the theater that we just saw. So the first one we want to talk about is from Dr. Joe. It's Alita Battle Angel.
Yes.
I believe it's from director Robert Rodriguez, right? He's in it,
Correct.
and then producer James Cameron.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
and the actors in it, what's his face from who just won a second Oscar for Green Book?
Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, Christoph Waltz.
Well, 2 Oscars.
Viggo Mortensen's not in that.
No.
Mashahara
Yeah,
Ali.
yeah.
Yes.
So it seems on paper it should be a good movie. What do we get?
Well, given the reviews of other people, okay, I went in this movie with like very high expectations because
really?
everything I've seen was like 9, 10.
Oh, really? I heard
9,
a bunch
8.
of low reviews.
Well, I'll get to that.
Okay.
And so I went in this movie with high expectations, and I would not rate that high. I would rate it like a B minus, maybe C plus.
give me a quick synopsis of the plot. What is it about?
Basically,
Because I legitimately don't know.
Christoph Waltz is a doctor. Okay,
Of course he is.
he finds.
Wait, what's his name in Django? He's Doctor something in that movie.
I
Dylan.
don't remember now.
Producer
I
Mike.
remember Django.
Producer Mike's here, guys, kids. Producer Mike, can you look up the name of Christoph Waltz and Django
I'll
Unchained?
do it right now.
Oh,
It's fine. I want to hear Joe's synopsis.
sorry,
I don't
sorry,
know
Joe.
it all.
Sorry.
Okay, so basically he finds the top remnants of a cyborg body in a pile of junk.
How
And he
far in the
reconstructs
future? This is Earth.
Yes, it's Earth like what is
200
it? I
years?
think like
Hold on.
1,000 years in the future.
It's centuries. It's not 1,000 years. Dr. Dyson Ido.
In which one?
Alita Battle Angel.
No, I know what he's in Django Unchained. That's what I called him.
Let me hear about this.
Keep going.
Anyways, he finds like the top half of a cyborg in this pile of junk and reconstructs the body as his daughter. And then through the kind of connect me with this, Dylan.
It's kind of an Astro Boy type of situation, except Astro Boy was just created full force. She was like in her previous life, she was kind of this almost like extreme elite, like soldier type of cyborg creature that they had built in a previous life before this kind of dystopia occurred. So there was an apocalyptic situation beforehand.
With cyborgs.
Yeah.
But
And so we're living in a world where they're controlled now, and she was mostly cyborg. She's all cyborg, but she has a human brain. So that's like technically the most base.
So I have some multiple questions about this. One, because I've seen the trailer, there's like a world, like there's like a floating city above it.
So basically, this place is very future. I mean, like centuries, in the future. And basically, in the past of this future world, there were these utopian cities that were above the earth, and then underneath, like almost like what was that one movie with Matt Damon? Elysium. Yeah, almost like that. Where like there's all these people living in poverty on the surface, and above you have all these people living in like these magical utopias in these big cities that float above the earth. I think it's Earth.
It is Earth.
Yeah. And then like there's this big cataclysm, and all these cities are destroyed except for one.
Okay.
And that is the future that you are entering now.
Okay.
So you have like all these people in poverty living on the surface, and you've got like this city on top that that where people apparently live in paradise.
It's part of what they based Final Fantasy VII off of, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
You never get to see spoilers. You never get to see the city on top.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh.
Because her story is about getting up there.
Yes.
So Alita is this cyborg who's just a brain but she's like the ultimate weapon. I'm led to believe, right?
She kind of is, yeah.
Christoph Waltz reconstructs her, but she of course doesn't have her memory.
Okay.
So
like Ghost in the Shell.
over the course of the movie, she starts picking up little glimmers of her memory. She was on Mars at one time. She obviously has great fighting skills and everything like that. And eventually, she discovers with her knowledge that she can't really remember, but it's kind of coming back to her. cyborg body that would actually significantly enhance her abilities.
Oh, okay.
So, and it was actually like a part of her before. So she links up with that cyborg body and becomes this battle angel, this ultimate super warrior. But in order to get to this magical city, she's got to compete in this rollerball.
Okay, I'll say, is this Thunderball? What the hell are we watching? I saw the trailer. They're like, it's
so in order to get up to the magical city, she's got to be the ultimate rollerball tournament person. That's where it gets kind of.
I don't want to get too spoilery. So, what is your feelings of this movie?
Well, a couple things bother me. It totally sets up for a sequel. This is not a movie that can stand on its own.
It's definitely not going to be.
Remember the complaints that you
no,
had?
No, it might because of China.
Oh, okay.
China, it's actually made as much as I just read an article about it. It's made as much as
Cheers, because Cheers is a great show.
Well, yeah, Cheers, totally. It might win.
Okay.
Fuck. Just keep going.
I'll keep going.
Okay. So it doesn't really have an ending. It ends basically setting you up for the next.
Which I get the balls of that, and especially with the pedigree behind it, you think they could do it. But like this movie was such a gamble. It's like.
And not well known at all.
No,
and from what I understand with talking with you, it wasn't a very.
It's not a huge.
Manga.
It's not that popular manga, right? Dylan Back, I've read nothing. It's not like. It's not like they were doing like Bleach or something. They were doing like
Well, this is fairly unknown by especially Western audiences. I think when you get to Asian territories, it is actually fairly well known.
But it's not like their greatest hits. Usually when they try to make it, usually they try to make an American version of it. They try to bring like the
they try to bring in like
runs.
Naruto or Bleach or shonen series end up being the most prominent. That means it means like it's like usually a story about personal growth and like spirit with like a young child growing in from adolescence to adulthood. Whereas this story was kind of seinen, which is a little bit older. Like the audience is older. You want to show that like it's seinen means like sage. It's like sagacious. It means older. It's like the stories are a little bit
for adults, basically.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I understand.
This is kind of in the same vein. This is a little before Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, because Ghost in the Shell was older. It's not like it's not like Inuyasha where it's like.
But I could totally understand why they remade Ghost in the Shell.
It's called a shoujo.
Yeah,
because it has like a female young protagonist developing into adulthood.
So back to the movie.
So this would actually be more like Akira. As far as like that
genre. It's more adult, and the illustrations to Alita are fantastic, and I see some of the stuff for this movie, and I think it doesn't work. Okay. I look at it and I think like, okay, well.
Here's a weird question. I was on this earlier when we were talking about Akira. Did Akira break us? Was it too good and that we've never like it's like.
Well, that was animated anyway, so you accept that.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I know it's animated, but
too long. It's too complex you'd have to make a mini series to really do Akira justice.
To do Akira justice, absolutely, Joe's correct.
So? Yeah. And the amount of income that it wouldn't.
They skip over so much of the story.
But honestly, the best parts, honestly.
Well, the movie itself is hard to follow.
But the movie itself, I think, is so great though.
It's good, but it's like, really hard to follow.
I always think Akira is like the Dark Knight of anime. Like, oh, we had this thing here, and everyone's kind of reaching for it for a while.
Well, it's actually just the first book of a 6-book series.
No, I get that. I understand.
I think Miyazaki. Miyazaki movies could be the Dark Knight of.
They could. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
Yeah, of course.
Speaking of movies, I just watched The Wind Rises again. It's so good.
The Wind Rises is great.
So good.
And I'm 2/3 through the Nausicaa, the actual.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a long one.
All right, so Joe, if you were gonna rate, we're all over the place. If you're gonna rate this movie, would you say people should watch it? Should they skip it? Is it at home? Go to the theater?
It's entertaining. It might be something you might want to wait for a stream.
Okay.
I know that James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez were betting a lot on this movie. It's been a project in James Cameron's mind for like
since
ages.
1996.
Actually, before Avatar.
Yep.
And but I don't. I want to see this whole. If I saw the whole thing as a unit, and I don't know if it'll ever be completed, I would probably give a higher criteria.
The anime series itself. So the OVAs.
So you never found the numbers right about China, but like if you never made a second,
it's made over 300 million now.
But I mean, like that was the same thing happened with World of Warcraft, and like it was terrible in the United States, but it's huge in China. But I mean, you still have to make money over here for them. They're gonna put money into it. They just won't.
But there's an actual chance. They're waiting for the video release at this point.
Okay.
Because they're going to see how many Redbox rentals you get. They're going to see how
iTunes
many
buys.
if they put it on Netflix. If it's on Netflix, they're going to see how much it's streaming. a lot of this stuff is now based off of that, and they're not going to announce anything until. So,
for somebody to see this, you have to be prepared for a couple things. A lot of there's
Goofiness.
not a lot of humans in it. There's a lot of cyborgs, so you're going to see a lot of. It's very cartoonish in that respect. A lot of heads, a lot of metal bodies, things like that.
So
it's
sexy.
not too incredibly hard of a plot to follow. It
does not look hard at all.
Yeah,
it looks very simple.
It doesn't get confusing or anything. So
it's
if
RoboCop.
If that's a concern, yeah, don't let that be a concern of yours. There's not too much depth there. There's emotion in certain scenes, but it's not a movie where you're like, I totally connect with these characters. Would you agree? I mean,
so you're saying in general, you have to see it in the theater, but it's if you're like a sci-fi anime fan, see it. Like,
yeah. It's entertaining.
It's not for
but
like
it's not earth shattering.
It's not for the random person.
I hear the woman who did the mocap / plays Alita. Her name is. I can pull it. Hold on.
Okay.
Rosa Salazar.
Yes, she's the voice.
And I hear that she's actually very good. I hear that the woman who plays Alita is very good.
Oh, I like the character, definitely.
Here's the question: when I was seeing this movie, when they made the trailer, do you feel it's like maybe like another 8 years for like the technology catch up to make a good version of this movie?
I still think I think it looks good. I think it looks expensive.
Yes.
However, I think what kind of pulls it away from me is going to be that I think this movie was, even though it's been so long in development, I feel like it was made with haste. And I think that's its biggest issue.
Well, they got they got green light. And let's do this real quick before they back out.
I don't like unless you've got a proven method. Don't set up sequels.
Yeah, I don't like when they make sequels like that.
It's just like you could see The Matrix, and you could just end it at the end of The Matrix.
You could have.
You don't have to see anymore. Maybe they defeat all the machines. Maybe they don't.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Whereas this, it feels to me like I already looking at it, and I'm like, how can you fit this type of thing into something so sprawling as a manga, which they introduce characters all the time. They even have to have little boxes that explain what characters are.
Even
in
for
most
example,
manga.
to take like a similar movie and how they did it, how they might have wanted to do this one in that way.
Okay.
Remember we
Yes.
off podcast we were talking about Nausicaa Valley of the Wind.
Yes.
When you look at the anime for that movie, it has a definite ending, and admittedly they never made sequels. Yes. Now, if you read the actual manga, there's much more involved.
So we're reading like the recap online with what this movie's about. I was kind of hoping to be more like, it's not a popular movie, the John Carter movie, where they made a movie that could for sure end it. But if you want to
John Carter was awesome.
Yeah, we're the minority. We both love that movie.
Yes.
But I'm saying like that movie was made in a way that was a huge sprawling. I mean, the Warlord of Mars is a huge sprawling thing, but they made a movie that could it's over. We're done.
An ending. Yes.
And I was like, I was hoping they were doing something that way, because I feel like there's points in that story they could have just said, okay, this is the story, and if you do sequels,
you can segment it. It's called arcs.
Yes.
It's especially with manga, especially Alita has
mangas in general.
It has maybe 4 main arcs, which I think they thought they could make 4 movies out of this. At least James Cameron thought he could, and that becomes the issue. It's not even about at this point everyone's trying to make the Marvel universe.
Yeah, which I feel is a mistake. You should just make something
just make it if it's
because even the Marvel when they made the Marvel universe was not expecting this.
You see,
they made Iron Man. They're okay, we'll put them at the end.
Yep.
Literally, we all joke about post credits, but that was genius. Let's make a great movie.
Well, that fucking destroyed
and then let's put a post credit at the end if we want to do something else. But
exactly.
But if it's shitty, we still have a self-contained movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
So okay, we gotta move on.
We gotta move on.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say one last thing. Basically, when it hit the end, my wife and I were just like, "Wait, what?"
Question.
That's
I have a question.
I have a question too. How did Kim like it? Because Joe, you're in the bag for these movies. But I've always found when you talk about movies and you have how Kim tells that's Kim's an everyday person. How did she like that movie?
Well, she enjoyed it. She felt that the middle part got slow.
Okay.
So it takes a little to get to its point. This is Kim.
Yeah.
Sure.
It takes a little. to get to its point.
Who is real?
By the way, listeners, Kim's a real person. Stop saying she's not a real person. She's a real person. People reach out to me and
Joe is married to her.
People reach out to me and say,
my wife.
Yeah, yes. But they think that she's not a real person. I don't know why people think
she is a real person.
Okay. We just have to make that clear.
She's not like a split personality. It's not Glenn and Glenda here.
I've been told that people think that you are young. People think that Joe is a young actor who's doing a whole bit. Like you're doing a Andy Kaufman style life.
No. But so for her, it took a while to get to a certain point, and then she enjoyed it. But then once it got to that point, then it was very fast, and she enjoyed it more. She felt it took too long to get to that point, and she expressed similar thoughts to mine at the end, where it was just like, wait, it set it up too much for sequel land, and if that doesn't happen, then you lose the story.
No, I'm gonna ask this question because Alita Battle Angel for a certain generation in Japan was super influential to a lot of young women. Mm-hmm. Do you think this movie is gonna really do you think once this comes out on video, young women? Obviously asking you is the wrong choice.
Yeah, why isn't Joe about that?
Yeah, never mind. I think this movie might.
I know a lot about. No.
Wow, Joe.
I'm glad you stopped.
I stopped because it got too creepy.
So let's move to the next movie. First of all, we didn't say at the beginning of the movie, a bit of the podcast. What are we drinking today? We always talk about what we're drinking. I'm drinking a little Cool Ice, La Crosse's own, Wisconsin's own, which we learned today is the dominant factor in the 4-pack malt liquor industry. We love Cool Ice, our unofficial sponsor. I'm drinking it. It's sweet, it's strong, and it tastes like Dylan's Kisses.
Yes.
Wow. I don't have anything so exotic. I'm drinking Cupcake Pinot Grigio.
Again.
Because he loves it.
He's a lush.
What do you got, big man?
Vodka Diet Coke.
What kind of vodka are you
doing? Burnett.
No, that's not a real thing.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
There you go.
I bought it.
And producer Mike is over there just playing Pokemon Go all day.
He doesn't even have a favorite Pokemon.
The thing is this. It's not just playing Pokemon Go. If that's what he's doing, it's fine. I don't want to see his screen because I'm a little worried it's really strange porn. Not actual Pokemon penetration porn. It's this is when a fat British lady sits on a cake and I watch it. That kind of porn.
She farts?
Yes.
That's cake farts.
Or British comedy porn?
Or she's I'm a set of Asian twins in a bathtub full of Lucky Charms playing the harmonica.
That's really hot, actually.
That's what Mike likes to watch. He likes okay, first of all, that's crazy weird.
Well, if they were shitting up into the air like Tub Girl,
jeez. Well, first of all, what the fuck's Tub Girl?
You've never seen Tub Girl?
No, I'm not a pervert.
I'm sorry. I thought that was ubiquitous.
With who?
The world.
No, just Uber drivers.
I've never honestly heard of this. What is
this?
I've
never heard of it either.
Oh my god,
Mike, you've heard of Tub
People
Girl?
are gonna hate me even more.
Mike,
Tub Girl. She poops into the air.
Oh, why?
Oh god.
Why,
She's
Dylan?
in the tub?
She's a lady. Why would you do this?
This is a famous internet thing.
Is it? Or is it just a Dylan thing?
No, it's not a Dylan thing. I'm not jerking to it.
Yo.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God. Okay.
All right, whatever. How to Train Your Dragon 3.
All right,
The Hidden World.
How to Train Your Dragon 3 is
The Hidden World.
Which I saw because of Paul, co-host Paul, who's not here because he's elusive. Took me to see the early showing. That was a special showing of the week before. And fun fact. This is a fun story. Me and former hosts Paul, Carlos, and Leo all been in the show. We all went together. And I'm in line because not only is it a free show, it's free popcorn and soda. They're doing this whole thing. There's you can take pictures with the dragons. It's all fun. I'm in line to get a soda, and someone just hits me on the shoulder. It's my goddamn sister. She's like, what are you doing? She saw the same movie, so I had to see it with my sister. It's a lot of fun for that part. The movie itself is okay. What are your feelings with the first How to Train Your Dragon? I think it is the first one is phenomenal.
The second one is
a good movie. Yeah, great. So if I'm grading the movies,
it's kind of following this. It follows kind of the Star Wars.
It does a little bit, especially the third one. It wraps up that way.
Yep.
So, if I'm rating them, the first one's an A+. It's a great movie. It's
so good.
So animation, story, the whole thing, voice acting. Second one's a solid B+, maybe an A-. It's great.
Yeah.
Not phenomenal, but it's great. And then the third one is entertainment. What's weird about the third one, which is not like Star Wars, it's less action. It's a lot of it's a ton of character building.
Well, that's good though.
Which is good, but for an animated so I enjoyed it, but I was worried about kids enjoying it because there's a lot of slow trying to wrap these characters. But in general, it's a good story.
Okay.
The animation is not as dynamic as the first two, but because the story doesn't like it. They don't force it in. Like the story does this, and this is what should happen. So like other movies had this great.
Sure.
There's two phenomenal, especially when they find the hidden world, phenomenal animation.
Oh, I've seen some of it. Yeah.
It doesn't have it as
it looks.
Yeah.
It looks crazy. Like the concept artist must have been.
So the hidden world reminds you a lot of like Coco when you saw like that.
Yeah.
That's some gorgeous stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I would give the movie.
Did you cry?
In this movie, no. Which I did. I'm not lying to you. I cried in the first two movies.
I cried the first two. Yeah.
This one just did not. It felt the need to wrap up a story that was not like because this is the problem with this. Like we're talking about like Joe said earlier. Like we're gonna do a movie that's gonna be like a sequel ahead of time. None of those movies that thought, hey, there's gonna be an overlapping trilogy arc. There was none of that. So we made the first movie that was great, and
they set up a villain at the end of the second one, and he doesn't come back.
No,
does he?
no.
What the fuck?
So the thing is that he does
kinda,
but not really. He's not the villain. So here's the thing: is like the first movie does not set up for a sequel, right? It's not meant to have a sequel, but then they find a way to make a sequel that works in that world and it makes sense.
Which is important, yeah.
The third one is like, man, we're really stretching it, but it does. They really have to push this theme through, and it works. I enjoyed it. I want to say something that's really weird to me that took me out. I feel the voice acting was not great because a lot of these actors,
Jay Baruchel, America Ferrera.
He's the only one. I feel like all the other actors, like including Jonah Hill, including all the people.
Got a lot of them didn't come back.
A
lot of them didn't come back.
No, actually, I looked at almost all of them other than T.J. Miller. He's the only one who didn't come back. But they're all so old now. These people were like early 20s, late teens when they started, and all in the mid 30s. They sound weird playing teenagers. It sounds weird. Yeah. I was the whole movie I was taken out by the voice acting. The voice acting is not the only one who does well is Jay Baruchel. He sounds the same because he was actually older when he did it.
He kind of talks like this anyway, and it's like I get it.
So other than him and Craig Ferguson, who did good voice work, and I forget who did the villain.
As the henchman.
Yeah.
But, well, I hear the villain has great voice.
Yes, he does. But all the side characters really spent a lot of time in this movie because why not for wrapping all the storylines. Do not sound great. I almost went back to look at like certain characters. Is it the same?
I think this one had. I think DreamWorks has a lot on their plate because now they have to compete with two different companies. Three, sorry. So we've got Disney Studios, which make like the Frozen.
Yes, and you got Pixar,
Tangled, and all that stuff. And you have Pixar, which has like automatic hits.
Yeah,
they're always gonna make money. Then you have now Illumination, which has the fucking Mario franchise now.
Well, then they also have to do. Here's the weird thing. So Blue Sky used to be an animation sure that was owned by Sony that didn't do well, but then all of a sudden Sony won Best Animated Picture. So like they will be back in because Blue Sky didn't do that well, but like now they're ready to rock and roll.
Well, now they've merged.
One question. So Illumination has the Mario franchise.
They've also have the Minions and
the Minions. Okay. Yeah. Because I was going to say, as soon as you said that, I thought back to Super Mario Brothers, the movie.
No.
No, this is actually going to be like Mario and like Luigi. Like it's going to look like a video game.
So back to the movie. The problems that were the voice acting and the animation. The story's great. They really do. It's all character building. It's a great story. It's emotional.
Shots are good. Okay.
Shots are almost geared more towards adults. Then?
It is.
Okay.
Well,
I get it. It's meant for the kids who saw it when they were like 12 and now are like full-grown adults because it's semi-spoilers.
I mean, know your audience.
It's about family. It's about people who are now getting married and having kids.
Is Kate Blanchett still in this one?
Is she
she was the mom.
She's still in this one. Yeah, she's still in it. The thing is, like, it's and they do a great flashback to the dad who died in the second one. They do like a flashback to him. That's obviously
Gerard Butler.
Nailed it. Really good. Yeah, he does a great callback. The thing is, the story has all these like weird. This is the problem is. The first half is like a scatter shot of things that ought to happen, like to either wrap up storylines but mostly was to take this world and funnel it down to the story of
which you have to do, unfortunately.
Which you have to do, and then once they get to the point where we're funneling the story, it's actually good because it's all over the place at the beginning. Like, I really think myself like this is all over the place.
You got a lot to remember.
Yes, the last 40 minutes is great. Which is weird because usually movies are good at the beginning, they fail at the end. This movie succeeds at the end a lot.
Okay.
It's a 45-minute ride. Like, okay, it's entertaining, it's funny, but like, what am I watching?
Yeah, to end arcs is, especially in a trilogy, is the most difficult.
Especially a trilogy that's not read as a trilogy.
I mean, like, yeah.
It's like doing the
Die Hard.
I
can even point to video games on that level. Yeah.
Well, it's like if you thought of Die Hard as a trilogy, Die Hard 1, Die Hard 2, and 3, like these are three movies that are like, but like they're all sequels. Like Rockies are sequels; they're not arcs.
Yeah,
we're very spoiled post Lord of the Rings, where everything's an arc. Like
that's true.
Really, the only one who's not like it was the Dark Knight because that was in the middle of it, but like they do have an arc between the two movies. Like everything's all these big arcs. They all want these continuing stories. They all want they don't want to have Godfather 3. They want to have 1, 2, and then the home run that you didn't get, like kind of stuff. So
I can't think of many games that nail the third one.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Games,
movies. It's
Fuck
hard.
Off,
I really do think Lord of the Rings did it. I really do think they did.
I will. There are some things in Return of the King where I'm like, Peter Jackson suddenly started becoming the Peter Jackson we now know.
No, yes. But at the same time, though, like for what it was,
he stuck it.
Yeah.
With emotionality and like the actors, I think really helped him with that.
Yeah. But it's hard to write
source
that.
material.
Yeah. So I liked it a lot. I want to say it's a solid B.
Okay.
I think kids will enjoy it because it's still the dragons and having
Allie and I will definitely see this.
Yeah, it's a good time. So, I mean, do you guys have any questions about it? I mean, I feel like I said everything.
I've asked all the questions I'd wanted to ask.
So that was How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Hidden World, and that's our little mini episode. Producer Mike, who's here, where are we at runtime? We had 30 minutes?
27.
Oh, perfect. So we're going to wrap this baby up. Producer Molly, this is how you do a mini episode. I mean, me and her can't do it because we talk too fucking much. She talks as much as I do.
Molly's very cool. So
well, she's way better than I am. She's the...
Yeah,
oh, my God. Cool. Like, she's like everything that's good about me and Mike in one person, which is not good. Because why do they need us anymore? She can talk and she produce. like we should just be on the side of the road, just doing our own thing. So if
me and Molly will make a podcast.
No, that would be terrible and awesome at the same time.
Cool.
So
call me Molly.
We're gonna wrap this up here. So if you like our podcast, please rate, subscribe, and review. Once again, Josh Smits, thanks for all your listening. I love your being a part of us. Josh Smits is our number one fan.
Whoa, I thought you said Josh Gates for a second.
Josh Smits, what?
Who is he?
If you don't know Josh Smits, you can't afford it.
Well, did he?
Does
he like me?
Yeah, he likes you.
Okay.
Actually, not true. He hates Dylan. He thinks he's the worst. There it is. So if you like us, please rate, subscribe, review on whatever platform you're on. If it's on iTunes, on Podcast Icon, on Touch It, on Himalaya, whatever you want to do, on Stitcher. We're on all those things.
On the iPad, on the computer.
Please do it.
Himalaya?
What?
Never mind.
If you want to find us on social media, the podcast itself is on Better in 3D on Instagram, 3D Better on Twitter. This is Better in 3D podcast at gmail.com if you want to email us. And if you want to find myself, I'm just Not That Maddie on the Snapchats, Twitter, and Instagram, and just Macro and Facebook. And if you want to follow our other host, Paul Unger, he's Paul Last Dinosaur on Instagram. If you want to follow Allison, she's Thistlewick, Thistle_Wick, WIK on Instagram. And Mike Dennerman, producer Mike Dennerman, is just Mike. That's pretty cool. We're trying to give Mike some shout outs.
Sorry.
If you want to give Mike Dennerman, he is Mike Dennerman on all those social medias, and Mike Dennerman on Facebook. But he's fantastic. And if you want to just see a guy who's got a great eye for cinematography, but plus great abs and supple hands, that's Mike Dennerman.
Wow,
stud.
It's true.
Mike, Joseph, how can they find you?
Joseph H. Weber on Facebook.
There we go. And Dylan, how can they find you now?
I've got a Twitter that I don't run.
But you're the content producer. What is it called?
It's called Drunk Dylan.
Drunk Dylan. Capital D's on both of them. 2 D's.
Yeah,
it's a double D one.
It's my wisdom.
It's Dylan's drunk wisdom, which is probably his best because when he's got the booze in him, he's got no shields up. He just says truth. He spits it. He spits it like fire.
I prefer to call it the spirit.
There it is. And once again,
one, baby.
And once again, if you want to buy any of our merchandise, we are on TeePublic. Just search for Better in 3D. We got T-shirts and mugs and cell phone cases are all there.
Mug again.
And we're a good time.
No.
So thank you, everyone. Until next time, bye.
Bye.